Literally, as I'm getting ready for bed, a huge piece of news came out and I had to cover it for you guys. This is actually very big and I'm actually so excited to do it. Finally, some actual images of a 2026 car and everything on the info that we should be expecting. So this is everything that you need to know. Please subscribe, like, it would mean the world for me. Very excited to do this. Let's start off with this car. So essentially, as we talked about with these cars, they are getting shorter. That is now confirmed. It will be about -20 in the actual wheelbase. Looking at this above image, it shows you, it doesn't really give you like a good concept, obviously, as to how short these cars will look, but you can see a lot of different pieces on this car. So that's already something very important to know, but smaller cars means better racing. Even if it isn't a huge contribution, it's still something to know. I mean, moving that direction more and more is very important for our sport, so making a smaller car will be much better. It was talked about that it's approximately somewhere to the, like nearer towards like the 2009 cars. I don't think that it is. It is smaller, but this is much better for us, thank God. Next thing to note is the actual width of the cars. So still looking at the same image, the width of the cars is also shorter by 10 centimeters this time. This is also huge. As I said, contributing to better racing, having smaller cars. Biggest problem is Monaco. Will this be solved? No, but it still will be better. And this is, yet again, another step in the right direction for Formula One going into 2026, especially because these engines are not going to be something to be messed with. They'll be heavy. So it's good that the cars are actually becoming smaller, meaning that it should be lighter. Now looking at this little side image, I mean, a lot of things to know. We'll go into it, we'll discuss it. But the actual wheels are going from 18 to 16. Before we had 13-inch, which was very small. Do I like the 18-inch? I think it looks cool on the cars. I do think 16 is much better. I think it just needs to be the smallest bit smaller, and that is, which is good. Another good step in the right direction. Everything seems to be going in the right direction for this car so far. So we got a smaller width, smaller length, and the tires are smaller than usual. Well, the usual being 18 inches, so good for Formula One yet again. Next thing, it's another big thing. Now the actual floor concepts are practically in-wash concepts, meaning that the actual airflow is going towards the in part of the car. What we kind of have now is like an in-between with a mostly outwash floor concept, especially from the top of the car. But look at it now. As you can see, that kind of double part to the floor on the actual side of it. It looks magnificent. I love what it's doing to the cars. Obviously, it's still going to have that undercut. The Red Bull concept is still going to be like profound and extremely good, but the actual underside of the floor will now be very important as to how you incorporate this to the actual floor part. It will come up with a lot of different designs, meaning that the cars that we have right now will not be actually translated to the cars that we have in 2026. I mean, looking at it on this beautiful Audi Sport model, I mean, this thing is a work of art. I love how this looks, and I love how the floor looks. This is just, by the way, a detailed floor from the actual, like, just pictures that are generated from Formula One. This isn't what it's going to look like. It's going to look even more extreme. Will it look like the barge boards in the past? No, but this is very important for the actual concept of airflow, and with it also being on the floor, it is also on the front wing. I mean, as you can look at it, it is very different looking. Outwash right now on the actual front wing to the ones that we currently have, this front wing looks much different, much more aggressive. Yet again, it'll be important how you make this front wing specifically going towards the bottom part of your floor, but also going into the inner part of the side pod and going into the floor will be very important. And yet again, I think a change into the right direction because most of the airflow will now be going towards the rear of the car. It's not going to be outwashing, giving us that nasty, dirty air in the corners. Of course, dirty air always comes. The more downforce you add onto these cars, the more that it will come. So it's not like it's something that will just not exist anymore, but it is something that will definitely be less profound. And I think that's what they're continuously going for. So considering that they're already at this step that they can show us the car, and I mean, literally, how long has it been in the regulations? 2 years? I don't think we saw the other car that early on. I could be wrong, but this is huge and a good step in the direction. Yet again, Formula One is very much on it. Also, another thing to note, looking at even the same picture, Look at the rear wing. Different. We actually have edges into it. It's not as curved as it is before. It's going to be a curved rear wing. It's always better for racing, so don't expect that to go away anytime soon. But we were not allowed to have any aero parts onto it. Now, Aston Martin did have that little part that was added onto the side of the wing. That was huge for them, and innovative, but you can't actually have these little pieces that the air is going through. This was in the regulations before our now 2022 and 2023 regulations. You were allowed to do that, but now you're allowed to do it again in 2026. So we'll make for different airflow. This will provide a little bit of dirty air. It was kind of against the regulations, but it looks like you still can't keep the air within the real wing part, but only on the outer edge of it. So a different rear wing design. I think this should provide still great racing. We shouldn't be too worried about actually having these little aero bits on the car. Just adds for more innovation on these cars. So also wider flow on the deflectors. Those little things. We never know what to call them, but deflectors, I guess, is the best word. So maybe some people, I mean, I'm surprised that we haven't seen any actual aero innovations on those for this year. Maybe we'll see them in 24 or 25, but in 26, we could see them again. They're just kind of onto the car for really safety purposes, but also in trying to prevent more rain flow, but it hasn't really been working out the way that it's supposed to. But the biggest thing, and the biggest thing of them all for this 2026 car, is that there will be active aero. And this is on the front wing and the rear wing. So this is huge. It's for the front wing and the rear wing. And what does this mean? I mean, the rear wing has obviously had the active aero with the DRS, but what are they going to innovate on the front wing for active aero? This, to me, I don't actually know what they can do with this, but very interesting to know. When I'm looking at that front wing, it's one of my favorite front wing designs that I've seen so far on a Formula One car. You have the past front wings that are very extreme, but it's been a while since we've had a in-wash concept, especially looking like this. It'll definitely make for different innovations on these cars, and we can expect a lot more different looking cars in 2026. While they still will have that same smooth shape, which I think, listen, the 2021 cars look great, but the new cars look smooth and silky at the same time, and they just look like aero beasts. They still look like a Formula car, a rocket ship. And looking at this model right here on this Audi Sport, it excites me. It excites me big time, and this is great that actually, I feel like they listened very much to what the fans wanted, but also what will bring the better racing. So to give you an overall list towards the end of this video, wheelbase minus 20 centimeters, width minus 10 centimeters, 16-inch wheels, in-wash aero concept for the front wing and the floor, new rear wing design, wider flow deflectors, active aero front wing and rear wing. Oh, this is great. This is so great. I'm so excited for this. It's so far away. So it's like we get this now and now we got to be like, oh, we got to wait towards it. But huge, huge, huge news dropping for the 2026 cars. And also look at the beauty. This is going to be the prize, the thumbnail, this Audi sports car. I hope you guys are just excited as I am. It brings more innovation to our sport. Am I excited for 24 and 25? Absolutely. And Vegas. But this is huge for our next innovation of cars. I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Please leave a like, subscribe. It would mean the world. And peace.